Temperaments in the workplace. Do you ever wonder why everyone is so different to you? Why nobody realizes that you're always right? Well, maybe that's to do with a lot of things, really. And maybe, I hate to tell you, maybe you're not perfect. The fact is that we're all very different people, and none of us are perfect. But we are all unique. We all have unique experiences in different cultures, families, countries, our birthplace in the family, religious beliefs. That's just to mention a few. And we're also different personalities. Many of our personality traits and types are obvious, and yet none of us have been taught to recognize what these traits and types are. Now that's my job. It's to teach you how to recognize yourself and others to build even better relationships with the people in your world. When we're born, our personalities are innate. They're kind of like a rock. When a rock becomes weathered by its environment, it can change shape, become pitted. It may break down, but it doesn't change its initial composition. Our personality is similar. Our lives are shaped and moulded and influenced by different environmental forces, and these can influence us, but not change the core of who we are. Can you think of 5 things that might have influenced your personality? It could have been your family, where you were brought up, when you were brought up, the friends that you went to school with, religion, and the list goes on. Now today what we're going to be looking at is temperaments. Our temperament describes our behaviours. The definition of temperament from the Cambridge Dictionary is, your temperament is part of your personality and it affects your moods and the way you behave. A famous Greek philosopher and physician, Hippocrates, observed his patients' different behaviours. He wondered why some people were so compliant, whereas others were questioning and more difficult. Have you recognised that in people you know, or even yourself? These questions led to the first known study of personalities. Hippocrates came up with 4 categories which are now known as the classic temperaments. His 4 temperaments are the sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and phlegmatic. Hippocrates' observations about human behaviour have proven to be accurate right now, more than 2,000 years later. Now, temperament isn't the same as type. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator talks about a person's preference for the direction of their personal energy, how they gather information, how they make decisions, and how they structure their outer world. You can learn about these type preferences from my earlier podcasts. Temperament, remember, describes our behaviours. For example, whether we're easily angered, happy, have a good sense of humour, are easygoing, bored, or many more. It's imperative to understand both type and temperaments to help us understand our and others' behaviours in the workplace, at home, parenting, and even just being with friends. In this episode, we're going to look at personalities in the workplace, as I'm sure many of you are going back to work in the new year, and some with a sense of dread around the people that you work with. According to market research on personalities in the workplace, around 80% of conflict, workplace or otherwise, is caused by misunderstandings about the natural differences in temperament. So what culture do you embrace when you're at work? A culture conducive to understanding people's disagreements and mistakes is paramount. Understanding other people's concepts of what they see as mistakes and disagreements should be viewed as learning opportunities. Every person is driven by their temperament. Identifying and working in different workplace personalities creates change, and it allows you to view people accordingly. Now, that golden rule, treat others like you'd like to be treated, actually doesn't apply. People need to be treated based on understanding who they are, not who you are. There are 6 critical job-related components: productivity, quality of work, initiative, teamwork, problem-solving, and adapting to change. And these are all different for every personality. For example, some personalities can be quick off the mark, using their productivity, solving problems, and adapting to change. But their work might lack attention to detail and perfection of the final product. Now, this will affect their relationship with some of their customers, as some customers are okay with speed versus high quality, but for others, the high quality is paramount. So let's take a quick look at the 4 temperaments. Have a think about yourself as you listen to them. Which one or mixture of the 4 might you be? Let us begin with the popular sanguine. The popular sanguine is an appealing personality. They're talkative storytellers, usually the life of the party, great senses of humour, often physically demonstrative with people, enthusiastic, expressive, cheerful, curious, and a child at heart. This is me. I'm a sanguine. Totally. My husband calls me the party pony, and I find fun wherever I can. I also love being with people. I'm a very exuberant person, and I do hug people a lot. And when I come into a room, I am expecting that everybody is ready for conversation. Now, my greatest learning from understanding my temperament was when I was a young school teacher. I used to bowl into the staff room where I was working, and I would reach out and hug people and chat. When I discovered the 4 temperaments, I realized that there were actually a lot of people who were physically withdrawing from me as I walked into the staff room. Wow. It wasn't that they didn't like me. It's just that I was overwhelming for them. So from then on, I reframed my approach. And I made sure that when I walked in, that the people who had found me overwhelming were the ones I approached in a calm manner, spoke quietly to, and did not take over their space. Now, the interesting thing was, these people relaxed, and they became even friendlier towards me. Can you relate to this yourself, or to someone else you know? Understanding this stuff is incredible for changing relationships with other people. Now let's look at the perfect melancholic. The melancholic's emotions are deep and thoughtful. They are analytical, serious, and purposeful people. They often appreciate beauty, and they can be creative. They're sensitive to the needs of others and can be self-sacrificing. Their work is conscientious, and their life, they're idealistic. My son Jack is a melancholic with a tiny bit of phlegmatic temperament as well. Luckily, I knew this from early on because his father and I were very different temperaments. He was a very neat, tidy child who loved organisation and structure. He was also quietly spoken, played well alone, and a good listener. Today, as a young adult in the workplace, nothing has changed. He's a methodical, diligent worker who keeps his work well structured, and he enjoys working in workplaces where others are like him. However, he also understands that everyone is different, and this helps him to get along with different temperaments at work. Now, there's nothing right or wrong. We're all just different. Do you think that this relates to you? Then we have the peaceful phlegmatic. The peaceful phlegmatic is a low-key personality. They're easygoing, relaxed, calm, cool. These patient, well-balanced people are usually well-liked as they don't disturb the peace. They're consistently quiet, witty, sympathetic, and kind. They often keep their emotions hidden and can be seen to all as just an all-round good egg. The phlegmatics often don't have high expectations of their work colleagues and can run a very relaxed work environment, as others feel comfortable around them. However, the downside to this is less productivity in the workplace. Now, can you think of anyone you know that might fit this brief? Is it you? I'm Kate Mason, and welcome to Parenting and Personalities. This is the podcast that connects you to the ones you care about the most. Today we're discussing in detail the last of the 4 temperaments, the powerful choleric. Now, the powerful choleric in the workplace has many strengths, and at the same time, as we're aware, our strengths can often become our weaknesses as well. The powerful choleric is a born leader. They're dynamic and active. They have a compulsive need for change, and they are always looking to correct wrongs. They're strong-willed and decisive, and are confident problem solvers. They can run anything. This can also be perceived, however, by others as bossy, pig-headed, and overbearing, because their way, to them, is the only way. Their assertiveness and confidence can inspire and motivate team members, but they can also be seen as aloof and unemotional, as their focus is usually on the job rather than the people, and that can get in the way. Now, it doesn't mean they're not nice people. It just means that that job focus is going to be their priority. They're pragmatic, able to provide logical solutions to problems. If they're in the right job, they're highly motivated workers and tend to work hard to see a goal to the end. This drive can contribute to a positive and productive work environment. Yet they can grow bored quite easily without a challenge, and if a new challenge appears, their focus to finish the old job might disappear. Cholerics are also known for their ability to make decisions quickly and confidently, and in a fast-paced business environment, this trait can be advantageous, as it helps avoiding delays and keeps things on track. Now, my husband Paul is a pure choleric. He loves to take charge. He was very unhappy in his workplace in his mid-20s until he was offered to buy a swim school business that he was working in, to own and operate himself. For the last 40 years, Paul has been in his element as a business owner and operator. He is in charge. He gets to make the decisions. He can delegate or boss, depending on the way you look at it, employees and get them to do things for him. He's able to use all of his ideas and make changes whenever he feels like it. He has freedom. A choleric with freedom to run and do whatever they want is a very happy choleric. Cholerics who are unhappy in their workplace can tend to be moody, easy to anger, and quite disgruntled. Not only does this affect the people that they work with, but also their relationships at home. If you're in a relationship with a choleric or are a choleric that is feeling hemmed in, without any voice in the workplace, then maybe it's time to look for another job. For the choleric, freedom to be able to make their own changes and to be heard by people who go along with them is vital. One of the stresses of working with and living with a choleric is that they want everything done yesterday. For Paul, just get it done. It doesn't matter whether it's perfect as long as the job is done immediately. Now, Paul is a great boss because he actually is able to give his ideas and insights and listen to others, and then he will leave it to his people to get on with their work. He doesn't micromanage them and allows them the freedom for some of their own decision-making. They also know him well, as we use understanding of personalities in our workplace. And he's respectful of their knowledge, time, and will often change plans if he can be proven that it's better than his. The negative of this rapid decision-making process is that Paul's decisions can be poorly thought out and mistakes can be made. However, as cholerics do, he'll manage to mitigate the blame of the mistake or dismiss it in an abrupt and indifferent manner. The greatest frustration for Paul and most pure cholerics are that people don't get their work done as quickly as they would like. For example, the melancholics focus on details and processes, and they lose the choleric instantly. This is not of any interest to them. They just want the job done. The phlegmatic drives them crazy when a job needs to be done immediately because speed is not on the phlegmatic radar. The sanguine, like myself, is too busy having fun and focusing on people, not work, so they're not productive enough for the choleric. All these other temperaments find the choleric stressful because they're always rushing them and changing the ways things are done and constantly looking for new solutions. Sometimes the choleric can butt heads with others over some decisions and will not usually admit defeat unless the facts are clearly not in their court. Remember, they're never wrong. A choleric loves another choleric who gets situations moving and makes things happen, but there can be a battle for control between them because both of them will think they're right. Choleric individuals are often good at analysing situations and coming up with practical solutions. Their assertive nature allows them to confront challenges head-on, and they're not easily discouraged by obstacles. As with every personality, it's important to note that often our strengths are our weaknesses, and individuals with a choleric personality may need to be mindful of how their assertiveness and drive are perceived by others. Now for you, here are some tips on how to work effectively with someone who has a choleric personality. Get shit done today or yesterday if you can. Cholerics tend to be action-orientated and may become impatient with delays. Try to avoid procrastination and prioritize tasks to keep that workflow smooth. Choleric individuals appreciate direct communication. They can give direct feedback and receive it, but it's essential to frame it constructively. Don't throw in emotions because they're not sure what to do with those. Focus on the issue at hand and provide solutions rather than dwelling on criticism. Be clear and to the point when conveying information or discussing tasks. Now, cholerics thrive on challenges and responsibilities, so give them tasks that allow them to take charge or showcase their leadership abilities. They'll appreciate being acknowledged for their hard work and achievements. They also like to be in control. They hate people telling them what to do and may become frustrated when they feel that control is slipping away. So when working together, respect their need for control while trying to find ways to collaborate effectively. Cholerics appreciate individuals who are solution-focused. So when problems arise, present solutions along with the issues and be proactive in resolving challenges. Does that ring any bells for you? Does it sound like you or someone that you know? If I'm describing you, here are a few tips to help you as a choleric manage yourself with other people. Learn to relax. Now take the pressure off yourself and others. Put aside your need to be in control. Well, try it sometimes, okay? And listen to others. You know, we're not all dummies. Learn to understand people and yourself. Tone down your approach because you can be full-on, loud, and bossy. Don't disagree with everything. Now keep your advice until asked, and that is so hard, I know. Try to let someone else be right sometimes. Learn to apologize and admit you have some faults. Collaboration and effective communication are key to leveraging the strengths of different personality types in a diverse workplace. Additionally, being aware of and managing any potential downsides, such as impatience or a tendency to dominate discussions, can contribute to a more harmonious and productive work environment. So, if this sounds like you or anyone else you know, really think about how you can make some small changes. Now, you might be a blend of temperaments, up to 3, usually with 1 or 2 more prominent and dominant. If you're equal in all 4, you're usually a phlegmatic, because you don't want to decide and the phlegmatic finds it hard to make a decision. Now, please remember, I'm not boxing you in. I'm teaching you about how to understand people's differences. When we encounter conflict, we should ask, how can I benefit from this? How can I make sure it doesn't happen again? And what can we learn for the future? If you don't love people, don't worry, I understand. But do learn to get along with them and engage in their world. You can use your learnings as a study of people and see how accurate you are at working out personalities and how to handle them. If you're a business owner, see if you gain more business as you invest time and energy into the world of your client. If you're in a managerial position, this could be vital in handling your staff and getting the best out of people. If you're in a workplace position every day and people are annoying the hell out of you, or you feel disliked, or you're unhappy, the only person that can change is you. Get people savvy and see what you can bring to the table to change relationships that you're struggling with. It's all about the right communication. Remember, personality traits can vary, and it's essential to approach each person as an individual. Flexibility and adaptability are key when working with diverse personalities in a professional setting. Next month, we'll look at the sanguine in the workplace. I'm Kate Mason. Thank you for listening to Parenting and Personalities. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could leave a rating and a review that would help others learn about this podcast. If you're interested in discovering more about you and your family's personality types, you'll find my book, Who Is This Monster or Treasure in My House, on Booktopia or Amazon. If you have an episode idea, please send a note to thepersonalitycoach@gmail.com. Many thanks to our producers at Stories and Strategies, and we'll see you next time.